When you think about it, what's the one skill that really separates the good leaders from the truly great ones? It's not just about having a killer strategy or some grand vision. Today, we're going to dive deep into leadership self-awareness, because it all starts with understanding yourself before you can ever hope to lead others well.
So, being a leader isn't about having a perfect map where X marks the spot. It's much more like navigating a really complex, high-pressure landscape. And in today's world, that journey is pretty much defined by three core challenges. First up, we've got complexity. Leaders are constantly wading through all this ambiguity, where the right answer is, well, rarely obvious. It's kind of like trying to solve a giant puzzle when you know you're missing half the pieces.
Next, there's the relentless pace of everything. It's just nonstop, right? The real challenge is trying to balance the need to move fast with the wisdom of making a thoughtful decision. It's this constant tightrope walk between acting too quickly and completely missing your window.
And finally, of course, there are the people. This is really the heart of it all. The big challenge is connecting with these diverse teams where everyone has their own unique motivations, their own needs, their own way of seeing the world.
Okay, so you've got complexity, pace, and people. Those are the three pillars of the modern leadership challenge. But that's not the whole story. These internal challenges are actually magnified by a whole bunch of external pressures.
Think about it. On any given day, a leader is juggling all these competing priorities, trying to hit targets while also keeping their team from burning out. They're dealing with rapid change, managing expectations from every direction, and they're doing all of this with limited resources. It is a very high-stakes balancing act.
So the big question is, how do you not just survive, but actually thrive in this kind of environment? Well, the answer lies in what we call the self-awareness advantage. It's really just the ability to look inward, to understand your own patterns, your own triggers. This is what lets you make conscious decisions that are actually aligned with your values. And that right there is the bedrock of authentic leadership.
All right, so that brings us to our first practical step, mapping your inner world. Look, before you can lead anyone else effectively, you've got to understand your own internal operating system. Let's start with a really fundamental question, and I want you to think about this for yourself. What are the core values that truly drive you? I'm not talking about the ones you think you should have, but the ones that genuinely guide your gut decisions when the pressure is on. And these values, they're usually fueled by deeper personal motivations. For some people, it's that thrill of achievement, hitting those huge goals. For others, it's all about building strong connections and getting people to collaborate. Or maybe for you, it's a deep-seated desire for personal growth or to make a real, tangible impact. Knowing which of these is your primary driver is absolutely key.
Now here's where it gets really fascinating. This stuff tends to break down into 4 common behavioral styles. See if you recognize yourself here. Are you a dominance style? The person who's focused on results, who says, let's just get it done. Super decisive, but maybe a little impatient. Or are you more influence, the natural storyteller who gets everyone on board, but might miss a few key details? Maybe you're a steadiness style, brilliant at creating team harmony, but you get a little uncomfortable with sudden change. Or perhaps you're conscientiousness, where your high standards are a huge asset, but can sometimes lead to getting stuck in analysis paralysis. The big takeaway here is that every single style has a natural gift and a watch point to be mindful of.
And this quote, it just nails the entire point. Self-awareness isn't about trying to become someone you're not. It's about understanding your natural tendencies so you can consciously adapt your style to fit the situation, all while staying totally true to your core values.
So, once you have that inner map, the next stage is all about application. Let's talk about how to actually harness your strengths and turn all this self-awareness into real action.
It's really about moving from just knowing yourself to strategically deploying your talents where they'll have the biggest impact. It's like a chess master who knows exactly when and where to move each piece for maximum effect.
The modern approach to development isn't about fixing all your flaws. It's about leverage. The advice is to spend about 80% of your energy just doubling down on what you already do best, turning your strengths into actual superpowers. And that other 20%, that's just for managing your weaknesses enough so they don't derail you.
Now, this self-aware, strengths-based approach has a massive impact, and not just on you, but on everyone around you. Let's explore how your actions and where you put your focus create this incredible ripple effect through your whole organization.
This is the ripple effect of leadership. It's a simple idea, but it's so powerful.
Your actions directly influence how your team behaves. That repeated behavior, over time, becomes your organizational culture. And in the end, that culture is what drives your business results. See? It all starts with you.
But here's the catch. To act effectively, you have to be able to think clearly. And get this, research shows that it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully get your focus back after just one little interruption. Just one. Now think about how many times you're interrupted in a day. It's wild.
And the cost of this is absolutely staggering. All that constant context switching, jumping from emails to meetings to chats, it can slash your productivity by up to 50%. Half of your potential effectiveness just gone. So what are we really losing here? We're losing the ability to do deep work. You know, that state of intense, distraction-free concentration where you solve the hard problems. Researchers think we need about 3 hours of that kind of focused work every day to produce significant, creative results. Let's be honest, how many of us are actually getting that?
The modern work environment is practically designed for distraction. That means protecting your focus isn't a luxury, it's not a nice to have. For any serious leader, it's a core strategic imperative. Okay, so we've navigated the challenges, we've explored our inner worlds, and we understand the incredible impact of our actions and our focus. This brings us to the path forward.
The thing is, becoming a better leader isn't a destination you just arrive at. It's a continuous upward journey of self-discovery, of deliberate practice, and of conscious action. It's all about taking one intentional step after another.
Ultimately, everything we've talked about today boils down to this one simple truth. The journey to more effective, more authentic, and more impactful leadership always starts from within. So the only real question left to ask yourself is, what's your next step?